Welcome back to Jones Metal Products. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about hydroforming, but the history of the equipment, the history of the hydroform machine. We bought our first hydroform in 1956. They actually started making them in 1952. There was a company called Cincinnati Milling Company, and based out of Cincinnati, and they started making machines in 1952. We were visiting a GE plant in Lynn, Massachusetts, and that's where we saw our first 32-inch hydroform in operation. We saw it as a way that you can really start to differentiate yourself from the stamping people that we were competing with at that time. So this is one of the 32-inch hydroforms that we bought. We actually have 3 in operation and 1 on its side as a backup. We know that between 1952 and 1968, they built only 50 of this size machine, and we have 4 of them. So we feel very honored to be sort of at the beginning, at the birth of hydroforming. Hydroforming didn't really become super popular until they started to be made new again. I don't know if this was like 10, 15 years ago. A company called Triform out of St. Louis started to make hydroforms. And at first we thought, well, you know, that might be a threat. Like, oh wow, everybody's gonna have a hydroform machine. But what we found out was when they go to shows, when they go to conventions, and they start talking about hydroforming, it became a common metal forming method again. So engineers, when they were designing parts, they started considering hydroforming as whether that was the best way to do it or not. So our business really took off after they started making new hydroforms. And today, there are just so many applications in aerospace, defense, nuclear, medical, power generation, where hydroforming is the best fit. One of the interesting things about hydroforming is this machine that was built back in the 1950s, there was no CNC equipment back then. So everything that you see on this press was built by hand. One of the negatives of that is, like, you see the columns that are there for support, they're not exactly the same. So if one column breaks, you have to go and get it handmade to the exact size and specification that one column was built. We can't take a column off another press and put it on this press necessarily. And the dome, they're all custom. So because it was built back in the 1950s, all by hand, I mean, to me, it's just crazy that they could have that kind of advanced piece of equipment building things one piece at a time by hand. That's probably why they only built 50 of these in the entire history of that company. They did build 700 total hydroforms, but they were smaller. Hydroforms, when you're talking about size, this one's a 32. So back then, this was the largest machine that they built. So it would be a 32-inch diameter blank. The forming diameter, which is the weld that the punch can drive up through, is 27.5 inches. So a 32-inch press can form a 32-inch diameter blank, but only 27.5-inch diameter forming diameter. And then it can go to a height of 12 inches. We can actually do some things, some magic, and make it go 13. So those are the limitations of a 32, but there's also a 25, there's 20, there's a 15-inch hydroform, 15-inch blank. I think the 15-inch hydroformer can only go up to about 9 inches, 8 or 9. And then I think there's a 12, which is really small. So smaller the press, the faster it goes. The 32-inch press, which was the largest back then, only, you're gonna get 10 to 15 parts an hour, where a 15-inch press, you could get 150 parts an hour. That goes really fast. Power up and open severely fast. So the bigger the machine, slower it goes. That's kind of how it works. So back in the 1950s, the options that companies had to make parts, you had hand forming, obviously, hammering metal, which, that's a very cumbersome, low volume type operation. They did have stamping, but stamping back then didn't have all of the sensors and the advances that they have today. There were a lot of problems with stamping back in the 1950s, but it was great for higher volume. And then you had spinning. Spinning was actually invented probably back in the 1600s. So spinning has a long history, but spinning has to be round, and it puts the ridges in the parts. So there's some drawbacks to that. There's good applications and bad applications. So along came hydroforming. Why is hydroforming a better option? A hydroform tool is only the male part of the tooling necessary for forming. So you have a male punch driving up into the material, and the female portion is oil that's held back by a diaphragm. But basically you have oil pressure, very extreme oil pressure, pushing down on the part while the punch that's in the press drives up. So that's what makes the metal form up. And the cool thing about that is it has so much power. You can form material as thin as 5 thousandths, which we form a part that's stainless steel. That's 5 thousandths thick. That's about a hair and 2/3 thick. Up to, we have a part that we form that's about 1.25 inches. So there's very extreme pressure that you can do with this with basically half the tooling. Now, if you're gonna want 100,000 pieces a year, we just can't do that with the hydroform press. You're gonna have to go to stamping. You're gonna have to pay the higher price, but you're buying so many parts, you can pay for that tooling difference. But if you're gonna buy 250, 1,000, 3,000, now all of a sudden hydroforming comes into play as a viable option. So one thing I wanted to show you that most people don't get to see is the hydroform, especially the 32-inch hydroform, is kind of like an iceberg. So when you look at what's above ground, you have the forming area, you have the clamps. So when it closes down, you have the clamps lock in because you have extreme pressure. You don't want the dome to push up. But what's really interesting is down these steps shows the pump area. So down here, what I call the basement, is where you have the electric pumps, the hydraulic pumps, where it's really the muscle that drives the press. Everything above the press is just the mechanical items. This is what gives you the electric power, gives you the hydraulic power for the oil. It's all down here. So literally half of the press is underground, and most people don't get to see this. So now you're getting the behind the scenes view. Thanks for watching another Jones Metal Products video. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about hydroforming, the history, where the machine started. If you want to get more in depth with hydroforming, we have a number of videos already out on YouTube. Go on to Jones Metal Products, West Lafayette, Ohio, and you'll see a lot more about hydroforming, fluid cell forming, basic Jones Metal knowledge. And we're just trying to put enough information out there so people really understand what the roots of hydroforming, where they came from, and what the capabilities are and how they can help you as a potential customer. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our video. It really helps out how much word gets out to everybody on YouTube. So thank you.